Truly the glue that held the Jackson Center together. She was the one thing, well, not the one, but everyone knew that they could count on Carol to get the job done. Carol, you just have to go back and look at what the center has accomplished in Carol's time. And that's in many respects because of Carol. I mean, who else but Carol could be on a first-name basis with one of Times Magazine's most important woman in the world, the prosecutor at the International Criminal Court. And when Carol calls and says, "Let me talk to Fatou, please," whether it's the prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, the prosecutor of any of the international criminal tribunals, the prosecutors like Whitney Harris and Henry King, unfortunately they have passed away, but the prosecutors from Nuremberg, many prosecutors from Nuremberg, whether it's solicitors generals that have come to the Jackson Center, whether the list goes on and on and on. Sir Desmond de Silva, a knight from the United Kingdom. But these are people that Carol is truly on a first-name basis with. And not many people can say that.
So I can be put in jail all over the world and...
You betcha. And that's right. Well, but you are a friend of the prosecutors. So that's the good aspect of it. Yeah, so your chances are good that they won't come after you. And so, but at any rate, I don't know what more I can say except thank you for all of this, but I do want to give everybody a chance in the room, I think starting off with Greg.
And why don't you start from other people, because I may go too long.
Okay. Well, let's see. I do want to open the room up for anybody that has been a part of the Jackson Center, a part of our world, that may have a few things that they'd like to say.
I do have a special guest just came in.
Oh, good,
from
good.
North, Bill Daly.
Here we go.
Be still my heart. Not Bill, it's what he's got in the package.
And I thought it was me.
Oh, it's always you, Bill.
Yeah, I know. Rod, I gave you the chance, Rod. Down at JCC in the morning, I said, "Rod, I've got the thing she wants the most." He looked at me like that, and I made the offer. I said, "You can give it to her for anything you wish. An anniversary, it'll get a lot of points." He turned me down. So I get the honors. This is her dream gift.
Is this real?
Well, I got to open it up.
No, it's your dream gift.
Yeah. He's taking it back, right? You gonna tell him what this is?
I won this, and she harassed the daylights out of me for a year. "Why'd you give me that? Can I have that? I want that."
Okay, what is it? Most of you probably know Three Dog Night and Corey Wells when he was here. He signed this. This is Jeremiah the Bullfrog, so I wanted
Literally.
it so bad. So, sweetheart.
Next.
Well, I guess.
No karaoke, don't worry.
Thank you, Bill. And you must.
That is crazy.
You were saddened when he walked away with that. Because you need to know the Corey Wells, Three Dog Night, Carol Drake, fawned over this guy. It was ridiculous. This guy. What is he? 69? But you just.
It's all relative.
So he came. She has several photos. They're on her screensaver. Rod has disappeared on most of the family pictures. It's so in fact, this is a major gift because you have just oohed and ahhed. And I'm really thrilled. For many reasons. And I do have something to say. When Jim started to go through the roll call of people you have been in contact with, and it was wonderful. The Whitney Harrises, the Henry King, the James Conway, the Richard Sonnenfelds, the Bud Schulbergs, all those variety of folks. And then what do they all have in common with you? They're dead.
I thought of that.
They are all gone. So Carol gets gets up close and personal to these folks, next thing you know, we read about them in their obituary. Not so close. Not so close. Please. There's so much to say, but you know, I was talking with Randy Sweeney a little bit earlier today, reflecting, and really one of the wonderful things that she has is pertinacity. You know, she is, that's a big word, and she takes charge, and when she sinks her teeth into a project, it really does absolutely get done in many ways. All you docents and all you board members are here, and all people who've worked with Carol, you know when her eyes are focused in on an activity, she actually just sees it to the end. She's a follow-up, follow-through type person, and that, frankly, is a pretty rare attribute, and one of which has found its place here in many ways, but most recently, I'll tell you a vignette. We received a grant or letter grant from Senator Young. Thank you very much, Senator Young. It was very nice. It was in 2008. 2008, and it was a time when, for those in the not-for-profit world, there were lots of those kind of letters passed around. We were glad to get one. Over time, those grants sort of disappeared, called back, sequestered, whatever. But Carol would not let go. There was money to be had. And so through all of the processes in Albany, she hung in there and was just, no other way to place, excuse me, for those under age 18, a pain in the ass. And this past year, Carol and the center was rewarded as getting the last, I might add, the last earmark out of Albany for the benefit of the Jackson Center. And for that, you deserve a kiss. And more. As I look around here, and it's just wonderful for me because thrilled, because there's 13 years worth of activity at the Jackson Center, and there are people representing all 13 of those years here. And I'm just thrilled, and I hope those who haven't been here in a while will meet and greet our new president, CEO. You heard him, but you maybe haven't met him, but Jim Johnson. Welcome to Jim. Right over here. Even though he's against the wall and against the flowers, he's not a wallflower.
That was bad even for you.
Deb Pincus, who's got the camera. Deb is our Director of Development, and for all of you need to know her, and she needs to know you. So Deb, welcome if you're new here. Kathy Tucker, who is our Operations Manager, is right there. Kathy, why don't you stand up and some people know that. She is following in the footsteps of Carol Drake and finding out where all the supplies, supplies are. And it's just Jen Champ. Jen, for those who've been here a few years. Jen, stand up. There we go. Perfect. And Teresa Nelson is maybe not here. But that's our staff crew and the various board members and docents and people who've been part of us. And I just personally want to thank all of you. But most important, we're focusing in on Carol Drake. And Carol, for really you in the hierarchy or history of things, it was Dan Braden. This is important. I got to pause and think about this, but Dan Braden and Raleigh Kidder and Becky Robbins and then Carol Drake.
That's right.
And Carol's been with us since
Let's see, it's been 10 years, Greg.
The Mets high math.
2003.
Steve, help me out here, okay? Yeah.
2003, buddy.
2003.
Yeah.
Wow. And over that period of time, obviously much has happened from various chief justices and attorneys and Nuremberg guys and international law dialogues. And the person who really is the closest contact, and in fact is on a first name basis, and in fact, John just called today to send his best to you, being John Roberts.
Oh.
The rest of us, it's Chief Justice John Roberts, but tell Carol my best, John.
There you go.
But she really has become the face of the Jackson Center. So anybody who has any contact with us, who makes the calls, who wants to set up the appointments, who in fact has to get a books or gets locked out, or sometimes she also is locked out and calls Randy Sweeney for the keys. Thank God, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah. is really, it's Carol Drake. And so it's a persona like no others. And when the story is written, and I think Kathy Crocker is writing that story, Carol being many, many chapters in that.
She told me that
Yes.
today.
And so on behalf of being one of the co-founders and wearing a few titles through the way, we can't thank Carol Drake enough. Really, seriously, this really is, you've been special to us and special to the center, and your legacy is here. This is part
So
of it.
why did you accept her resignation?
That wasn't an option. Because you must know that Carol Drake, when she decides to do something, it is in fact irrevocable, and that such was the case. Let me pause here before you take the mic. Anybody want to say, got a vignette, a story, anything? Make it up, I don't care. Steve, you must have a story. And then Tracy will have one next.
Well, Carol, when she left for lunch, I'm sitting at the desk up there, and pretty soon she comes running in, so I know she's coming right away. But having said that, she's been very kind and gracious to me. I live in Warren, there's some of you probably don't know, but she would call me and say, can you come up tomorrow, or can you come up this afternoon? There's a tour coming in. And yeah, okay, I'll be right up. But when we gave, let's see, I think it's Casadega and Gowanda specifically, high schools come every year to the Jackson Center. Carol would schedule them on Thursdays. She would take them halfway through, leave them off to me, and then I'd finish the tour. And it worked really well. She did a wonderful job. She's as good as anybody at taking people on a tour of the Jackson Center. But I want to thank her publicly for her kindness and treating me as a part of the Jackson Center for the 9 years that I've been here. Thank you, dear.
Carol learned a lot from the person who joined her at the time, Tracy Boggan.
Oh, she learned a lot from me.
I did learn a lot from Carol, and probably none of it I can mention publicly.
No.
But, Carol and I met Carol probably 5 years ago or so, I would say. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I worked at the Jackson Center for a couple of years and had the privilege to get to know Carol, and I'm very happy to call her one of my best friends. She's a wonderful lady. We had a lot of laughs. We worked very hard. She's probably best known for her technological capabilities, which some of you may or may not know. We had a little trouble hooking
That
up
was
computers
cruel.
one day. So, but Carol truly is a jack of all trades. I don't know how the Jackson Center is going to survive without her. When I left the Jackson Center, I missed seeing her on a daily basis. But our friendship has remained intact, and I'm looking forward to spending time with her now that she's got more time to spend. So, congratulations on your retirement.
Thank you.
There are many people who come great distances just to be part of your evening, and also a very high rank. We have the mayor of the city of Jamestown came here. Sam, do you want,
Hey, Sam.
unaccustomed as you are to a microphone, would you like one?
Politician, captive audience, and a hot microphone. Let me just take a minute to take it all in. I'm going to be walking around the building hereafter, because now that the Jackson Center is closing, we got to figure out a way to repurpose this building in downtown Jamestown. So, luxury hotel possibly, a suites hotel. Jen, we'll get you in on the repurposing meeting. So this place can't possibly go on without this lady here, but you've done a great job, obviously. You've had a great team to work with
That's right.
as a leader of the team. But this place has come a long way over the years, and it's a real asset to this community, in no small part because of this lady, as you all know better than I do. But you're moving on,
Yeah.
and a fellow Kawanian,
Yes.
okay, a colleague, a neighbor, and most importantly, friend. And now that Carol is full-time at the house on Valley View, I never thought that the lawn could be any better with Rod taking care of it. Now I know the house is really, really going to look good, so that's a good thing from a selfish standpoint. But Carol, congratulations, and thank you all that you've done for the development of the Jackson Center and thus for the community.
One of the nice things is she has been able to keep this place running. We've had lots of community activities here at the Jackson Center, and it really very much an unintended positive consequence of the creation of the Jackson Center is this facility here as a community center. And one of the principal tenants and users is the Rotary Club.
That's right.
And one of the principal individuals who, not shy also with a microphone, would like to speak is Phil Calla. So Phil, if you want to come up and say a few words, because Phil is, somebody help me out. Phil Calla.
I left my prepared remarks. We're going to make this brief because Carol and I have a plane to catch. Rod, work in the air. Carol was my hostess every single Monday at
That's right.
every single Rotary meeting. It was the bright, smiling face that greeted me when I walked in from.
February weather.
Would I be too hyperbolic by calling what I do, Greg, a law practice? What I do. And it was always good because we came here to our noon Rotary Club, a rollicking good time every single Monday. You never would have thought we were doing anything for the community, but we got it done. And you were our host and always
Absolutely.
just lovely.
Thank you.
Next.
Jim.
Jim Oria back there, by the way, it was one of our first docents. He,
Oh, you're a sweetie pie.
yeah, just terrific. Rod is going to say a few words because nobody sacrificed more that I'm aware of. Huh?
Thank Ron publicly.
Well, give me time, Cindy. Let me just give you a story. That's my case for those who haven't. Oh no, that's my wife. And she is very quick to criticize and to point out my various shortcomings. And I have many, I guess. So here's the scene. Here's the scene. And for some of those who were at the Jackson Society dinner a few years ago,
This is my favorite story.
my role was to introduce our guest speaker, Phil Donahue. Big deal. Big deal. So I went through a litany of things which Phil had done for the benefit of the Jackson Center. And during the course of my ramblings, I mentioned the fact, in error, that rather than me say I was a big fan of Phil Donahue, I flipped it. And I said, Phil Donahue was a big fan of mine. Now, most people it just went right by them because I just continued on. I didn't
Or chuckle.
And then there was one sole, singular voice in this crowd of 200 people, packed to the gills. You made a mistake! Wow. Everybody had forgiven me, forgotten, we're moving along, things get the problem. You made a mistake. And I look at Phil and he goes, yeah, you did.
But I am your best fan.
As it turned out, it worked out okay.
It was
So
funny.
similarly to Rod, thank you very much for making Carol available to us on so many instances, including one particular evening when you and she came down here and averted a great plumbing issue. So
It's not averted.
your imagination can roam, but they were here. Anyways, Rod.
It's not.
More like we waded through the plumbing issue.
Yes. Literally.
Yes, and they haven't got that fixed yet, so be careful. Everybody be just be careful. Yeah, I'd like to be serious for just a few minutes and just tell you that Carol was very honored to work here at the Jackson Center. And probably you've heard about all her tasks here, talking to representatives of states and all these people that we all know very well. But one of her bigger tasks is to get a call from DFT at 3 o'clock in the morning, indicating that there's been a break-in or the alarm has gone off. So Carol and I get our clothes on and we come over here at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Kathy, remember that? Okay, that's your biggest task. Come over at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and we turn off the alarm and she gets back in the car and we go home. There's never been a break-in, but that's probably one of the most important things that I remember.
Thank goodness you came.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Let me give you the postscript to that story. Carol got a few calls a few times because she was first on the list of the call list. So what did Carol do to make sure that never happened again? She put my name on the first. Really sweet. So this is how my memories of Carol run deep. Exactly. Anybody have a story, a vignette that they would like to do this voluntarily before I call on you?
Oh dear.
John, you worked very closely with Carol on many board matters. You want to say a few words and put on your ministerial garb and say something? This is John Jackson, John. Please, John, please don't, John, please don't call me Robert Jackson.
Yes. Oh boy.
It's that anticipation.
It's-
Who was that, Carly Simon?
Don't. Yes, it was.
On behalf of the board, John Jackson.
I really appreciate the opportunity because the emotional feelings that I have and the gratitude that I have for the pleasure of working with this lady for many years. In many instances, it may be a meeting, it may be a trip, it may be any number of things. I have seldom in my life run into anyone who was totally prepared to do whatever needed to be done to get the job done and get it done right. And you didn't have to worry. You could just rely. If Carol had the ball, there's going to be a touchdown. It's been a real privilege, and we're going to miss you, but we're going to stay in touch.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
And he's hiding around the corner. I'm going to do something which is never done, and that is ask Dennis Webster, who's here to get some sound bites. Dennis, step forward. Because Dennis has been intimately involved with working with the Jackson Center. He is coming, isn't he? Oh, nice. Anyways, it's a great timing. You know, really, what can we do? What slow dance can we do here? Hey, Dolores, you want to say a word since you're the historian of the city of Jamestown? You want to come forward and put Carol in perspective in the history of Jamestown?
I have no idea.
After Dennis.
I've known Carol for I don't know how many years, but it's been through women's groups and various women's groups that involved here, Interclub Council, but are separate ones that we belong to. And when I've needed something, wanted something for AAUW, Carol and the Jackson Center come to mind. Carol, I need, could you help me? And always yes, she was always there to help and do whatever. She's a grand lady, a grand friend. I'm glad to count her as a dear friend. And I'll include your husband in there too. He's kind of a nice guy too.
Okay, great.
I'm going to call up Deke now that he's retired. He can talk more frank. Deke Kathman, because he's back there. See that? That's the guy.
The guy in the beard?
Yeah, there he is. He's going to come forward. And the reason he's coming forward is because if there's anybody who's worked more closely with the school systems, various programming, and who's gone on and
Anita.
and Anita, yeah. Well, Anita's gonna. She's last. But Deke's gonna reflect on what you've met, if at all anything. Maybe we'll see what comes to mind here.
Yeah, really.
Tell that to you, Deke.
Hey, you.
Easy. Congratulations.
You too.
I have but one very profound remark to make. Having just heard the story as to how you get called in the middle of the night to come here, I just learned something new about Carol Drake. She And you put on your clothes at 2 in the morning? They sleep in the nude.
That's all anybody needs to know.
That was a good one.
How did you pick that up from this information? Did anybody else glean that little piece of knowledge?
You got to read between the lines.
No, clearly, we've had many programs, and at the heart of it has been, Carol, these are the programs which have dealt as wide and broad as possible, and that has really dealt with our Young Authors Series and dealing with the education program. It's been huge, and the person who's been working glove in hand with you, Carol, and of course has come all the way from where are you, man? Montana, Idaho, Alaska, wherever she has been out west, shooting, hunting, skinning bear. Iditarod. She did it all. It's on YouTube. She is the rock star in the room right now. Anita Sanctuary. Anita, come and share a thought.
I had a very tiny part in this great big picture. My tiny part was to be in charge of the author programs involving hundreds and thousands of students and getting that all organized. And in order to do that, I had to be extremely detailed.
Oh, yes.
And the big thing that I learned from working with Carol was to take a deep breath, relax, and look at the big picture. Stop focusing on those little bitty details. Look at the big picture. And when I think of her and what she did for this big picture of the Jackson Center, I am awestruck, and I applaud you.
We're going to call up Judge Gerasi, because nobody from the beginning has had an opportunity to, come on, Judge. Again, Judge, microphone, these guys they're piling up back there.
At least I come up and get a hug anyway.
There you go.
She always introduces me as the man who married her daughter.
That's true.
And that was one of the pleasures of knowing this wonderful woman. She's, well, been everything that everyone here has said and will say, and we're really going to miss her. And
Pickleball.
yeah, right, for sure, guaranteed. In front of no. Oh.
Yes.
All right, that's a deal.
Okay.
Pickleball it will be.
Okay.
I'm glad I knew you. One more hug, please. Thank you very much.
I'm going to give up the microphone. But anyways, for all of you, I mean, the real tribute here, Carol, is to see the number of varieties. This is a huge turnout. And the diversity and the various aspects of the Jackson Center, again, whether they're docents, volunteers, employees, all of which story, Becky Robbins, thank you, Becky, integral part of, in the back there.
Oh, you snuck in.
Yeah, and so just been wonderful, and thank you, because it speaks volumes by your attendance. And I'm going to turn it back to Jim to conclude, but I want to give you a last hug. Thank you.
You know, Rod and Greg, I don't really know why, for some reason, you believe that you're still not the first people on the call list for the EMT. Kathy and I had a long discussion about that, and we saw no reason to change it. So keep your clothes close by. You know, I did a quick tally this afternoon. We talked a little bit about the quality of the events and the people that attended the Jackson Center events, and you know, from all over the world and from all walks of life. But I did a quick tally this afternoon, and since Carol's arrival, there's been about 115 Jackson Center events that, of course, Carol would have been directly involved in, and the person who made those events come on.
Never tell me the numbers.
I see, okay. And you know, that doesn't, those are the Jackson Center events. That doesn't mention, as Greg mentioned earlier, the countless number of community organizations and groups that have come through and used the center, and Carol has made all of that happen. So that just says just a little bit about what you did. Carol, a couple of days ago we had the opportunity to give Carol a nice spa package at a local resort. But we also, you know, to go along with that, we thought we might want to give you something to look at while you're on that spa package. So if you would grab the pink one first there, please.
Oh, this is great. My Legally Blonde picture on the front. Thanks, Greg.
And for all of your adventures yet to come, we have another one for you.
Oh, I love it. Thank you. Got to pick up first.
Things don't change.
I know. Oh.
There you go.
Are you kidding? I'm supposed to say something now? I've been thinking all day what I was going to say, and obviously I can't say any of it. Yes, I'm speechless. Don't say a word. It's just overwhelming to have all of you here, and I actually knew everybody's first name. That's the best part of all today. If I start getting sentimental, I'll cry, and I'm wearing mascara, and it's just not pretty. But I do want to thank everybody for your warmth and for your friendship through the years. We've had a great time. It's always better to laugh in front of people than cry. That was one of my mottos all these years. But we've had a wonderful time. When Greg has talked about all the people that we've met and all the fun things that we've done, it's been quite a trip over these past 10 years. We've had a few bumps, but with Greg and his yellow tablets and his notebooks, and him thinking I never really listened to him, when as soon as he said something about 4 times, then I started really believing that he needed it done. So, but he didn't know that. You know, I think it's a blank look, and he said, "Don't you ever listen to me?" He always said that. But we've had a really, really wonderful time. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Who knew I could have a whole career when I was... yeah, do the math. So it's just been a treat. I really did have a lot of interesting things to say, but it's gone. So I just want to thank every one of you. If I didn't have a chance to say hi, because some of you snuck in. Hey, Judge. Hi, Fred. And I want to. So everybody eat up and have fun. And it's just great to know all of you. And hopefully we'll keep in touch. And I'll see each other on the beach. Who knows? But thanks, everybody, for all your support all these years.